You know, if you had come to probably any island 5 years ago when I was being interviewed and said, you know, 5 years from now, the university will hit records in fundraising, will hit records in getting financial aid for student scholarships, record enrollment numbers, record research numbers, and so the president would be perceived by most as successful, and he'd be so happy here he'd want to buy a place and stay here and retire. People would have said, yay. So yes, my wife and I did buy a farm in public auction, which means by definition we paid more than anyone else would pay. It was no special deal. The reality is we bought it with a Regent, and that's where some people didn't like it. But the true story, or the more full story, is we decided to divide this farm in half before we bought it. Us take the recreational river land, this guy taking the farmland. It turned out the farm hadn't been surveyed in over 100 years, and the surveyor couldn't get the survey done by closing. Had he got it done, it would have been a big non-issue. We each bought our half separately. But because closing had to take place to close the estate of a woman who was deceased, one of us had to buy it. So Bruce bought it. The day after the survey was finished, we bought our half for the same money. It's unfortunate that someone created a store where one really didn't exist. But you're right, when you add a few of these things up, people might scratch their head a little bit. You know, I wish in hindsight